So for those of you that are driving and can't look at your phones, the slide says, focus on what will not change. And it's Peter Diamandis. He's someone who's a visionary and he's always on the cutting edge. And people are always thinking about what's changing. In our business, what doesn't change?
The fact that people have difficult situations that can't allow them to sell their house on the market, and they need us to move their house.
Yep. What else doesn't change?
The need for housing.
Yep.
Perfect. What are the 5 human needs?
Housing, food, water.
Food, water, clothing, or shelter, or clothing. Shelter is another one of them. So shelter is one of them. And what do we provide on the rental side?
Shelter.
Affordable housing.
That's it. We provide shelter. It can be boiled down to shelter. So there was someone who won a presentation last week on the metaverse. Does anyone know what the metaverse is?
It's like the new Facebook parent company.
Meta is the new Facebook company. The metaverse is this place where people can live. Like they can move, like you put on your Oculus glasses and you can physically like live in there. Now, like the big thing is you can buy, land in the metaverse next to Snoop Dogg or Oprah. It's a big thing. So does anyone know what an NFT is?
Non-fungible token.
It's a non-fungible token. Can anybody explain it?
Way to prove ownership for assets.
All right, Nas, you first.
Oh, sorry about that. Way to prove ownership for digital assets from a tokenized basically IP.
So that's more or less the blockchain, right? The blockchain is the thing behind the NFT, and what it does is it's a computerized version of a title on anything. So like title search in the city of Richmond is a massive pain in the ass because they have to go back to like books that have dust on them and figure out like who owned this and who's the title, and God forbid if your name is Jones or Smith or White, like it's just a complete pain in the ass because there's so many people who could have possibly owned it. So that's the metaverse. An NFT is actually a non-fungible token, which is a piece of something securitized by something with a very specific chain of ownership. And we were having these conversations about like all of this stuff in the metaverse, and this Kai's over there. There's 2 kids in CG. They're like on the cutting edge here. They're both in the TikTok. They're both like really ahead. And both of them were having a debate. This was at lunch about all these things you can jump on and chase in the metaverse. And I asked him, I said, hey, can you live there? And he goes, oh, well, yeah, you could be there as much as you want. I'm like, no, like, can you physically move it? He's like, well, no, it doesn't exist. It's just kind of out there. It's like, oh, then I'm going to continue to buy houses where these people in the metaverse need to live. So if you look at it from the perspective of what won't change, our business is built on a core fundamental that comes all the way back to one of the 5 human needs. And if you come back to what this is, I hear you. It's a fairly solid business plan if you focus on something that will not change. So those are some of my takeaways from last week.